A lovely good evening to you all. Today, the 10th of December 2023, to present Camnet Television News, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: stakeholders advised against politicizing the SENSELI mine tragedy. Government calls for calm amid succession disputes in Northwestern Province. A teachers' union welcomes the revised 2023 education curriculum. In international news, DR Congo's opposition leader KATUMBI promises to liberate the country. And in sports news, the LUSAKA media football team wins the Play for Road Safety tournament. These and more stories coming up after this short break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mosi Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Hello again, another news in detail. A local smart agriculture researcher and expert, Oliver Wulaya, has advised farmers in the country to adapt to local innovations amidst prolonged dry spells in some parts of the country. Dr. Wulaya says farmers should adapt to hybrid seeds and early maturing seeds which are climate resilient and avoid affecting the country's food security. He says it is not late for farmers to go about their activities but embrace crop diversification as a pivotal solution to the prolonged dry spells.
A lot of farmers are concerned, this time around because of prolonged, dry spells in most areas, talk of central Lusaka, east and southern and other parts of the country where they've not yet received the planting rains. I think we still have an opportunity. Farmers must not give up. Now, there are certain steps that they need to follow this time around. And this is firstly, the tillage system itself is very critical. So we keep, advising our farmers to engage into climate smart agriculture, or what we refer to as conservation agriculture, tillage systems. These are minimum tillage systems that are referred to as basins or furrows that are created, by reapers, ox-drawn reapers or tractor-drawn reapers. So this is the only opportunity that is available. There are many other advantages to do with these tillage systems in terms of, in the case of prolonged dry spells, these tillage systems will be able to maintain the moisture that will sustain the growth of the crop, for prolonged, period of time compared to a farmer that is using a plow, to prepare their land. So the option is climate smart agriculture. So those farmers who've not yet received these planting rains, let them ensure that they do it quickly and ensure that they engage into this kind of tillage systems to help them, within this short period of time that we are remaining with, which we refer to as the growing period of various, crops.
The Agriculture Institute of Zambia has dispelled the perception that it wants to regulate institutions and farmers in the country. Institute Chief Executive Officer Matthew Ngosa says the institution exists to register professionals in the agriculture sector and ensure that they exhibit professionalism in their conduct. Speaking during a training of smallholder farmers on fish and chicken smoking by the remnant farmer in Lusaka, Mr. Ngosa is happy that the organization is complying with the law. More in this report.
Value addition is necessary for the provision of food that is of high quality and safe for human consumption. This process plays an important role in building resilient industries and provides numerous benefits to the well-being of domestic economies such as employment creation, poverty reduction, increase in foreign exchange earnings, and economic growth. The Remnant Farmers Organization has been proactive in driving Zambia's quest to steer value addition in the agriculture sector by empowering smallholder farmers. Remnant farmers have embarked on a program of training farmers and business enthusiasts to add value to fish and chicken by utilizing the concept of smoking for a higher price value. Ruth Sibanda is Remnant Farmers Organization founder.
So we are building a complete farmer who is able to farm, add value, market and sell. So we are teaching farmers on how to farm as a profit and not just a way of doing things. So if farmers can do 8 months, can farm for 8 months, which is fish, from there they add value, they market and do the sales. Farmers are going to make a lot of money. The second thing that we have taught them is how to smoke chicken. Right now, chicken is at 100 kwacha. You add value to it. The minimum you can sell, like ShopRite, it's at 180. These others you find 160, 170. So instead of you just selling as it is raw at 100 kwacha, why don't you smoke it and you sell at 170? There is market for smoked chickens.
Those who have benefited from the training say the training would enable them to be self-reliant.
Most of the time, many people withhold information, on value addition, but I think the remnant farmer has come up in open to train as many people as possible, and I think this is a great idea which must be supported at every level.
Let's talk of fish. This is a good business that anybody can learn. Smoking chicken, it's equally a good business that I didn't know, and I've come to learn, and I have learned how to do this, and I know that even when I go out there, I can do this, I can start a business of my own, and I can be a young rich farmer in the near future.
This knowledge that I'm getting, I'll be able to go and teach my friends so that they know how to preserve their food even. And also maybe given a chance, maybe go into a school and teach the girl child, even the boy child out there. Nowadays it's not just about the girl child, it's also about the boy child.
And the Agriculture Institute of Zambia utilized the occasion to dispel the perception that it wants to regulate institutions and farmers in the country. Institute Chief Executive Officer Matthew Ngosa has hailed the remnant farmers for upholding the dictates of the law and contributing towards value addition in the country.
Now employing agronomists, they are also employing animal scientists to complement their training needs. So that is a very, very welcome development, and would want to urge the corporate or the entrepreneurs out there that are also involved in training to emulate remnant. What we shared with the farmers was purely to dispel the narrative that AIZ is there to regulate the institutions, which includes the farmers. The AIZ is specifically there for the registration of agricultural professionals, and it's also there to ensure that we are regulating their professional conduct in the best interest of the agricultural sector.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A lawmaker has expressed disappointment over the decision by Parliament to reject a motion championing the right of persons with disabilities. Last week, a motion proposing the introduction of sign language and braille writing as optional subjects in all public schools was rejected. Chulubi Member of Parliament Mulenga Fube says the government missed an opportunity to demonstrate that it is keen to promote an inclusive society. But Disability Rights Watch Chairperson Joseph Monsanje says the turning down of the motion in Parliament is welcome because the implementation of braille writing as a compulsory subject in public schools is costly. Details in this report.
Since 2010, Zambia has been a member of international treaties such as the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD, which aims to promote, protect and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedoms by all persons with disabilities, as well as to promote respect for their inherent dignity. In 2012, Zambia domesticated the Persons with Disabilities Act No. 6 of 2012, focusing on empowering persons with disabilities to be an integral part of mainstream society, but over the years, about 1.5 million citizens living with disabilities have faced discrimination and unequal distribution of resources as major barriers. Last Wednesday, Acting Minister of Community Development and Social Services, Rodney Sikumba, rejected a motion put forth by independent Chiengi Member of Parliament, Given Katuta, advocating for the introduction of sign language and braille writing as optional subjects in public schools in the country on grounds that government already introduced braille writing and sign language as an option in the Zambian curriculum framework of 2013. But Chulubi Member of Parliament Mulenga Fube has expressed disappointment, explaining that the government missed a chance to address gaps that exist in attaining inclusivity in the country.
And I can safely say that the majority of those some schools are not government schools. And government schools are a good space for people to acquire education and people of different characteristics. The differently disabled who find the space much in government schools because one, they are cheaper and they can be driven by public policy. So to do what was done is an assault to people with disabilities. And I think we need to start reasoning better in Parliament, where we should not just be using arrogance of numbers. That was a good motion and a non-controversial motion, which we do not see need that it should have suffered that kind of misfortune.
Meanwhile, Disability Rights Watch Chairperson Joseph Monsanje says the turning down of the motion in Parliament is welcome because the implementation of braille writing as a compulsory subject in public schools is costly, which would call for new recruitment of teachers, materials, among others.
That motion could not pass through. It's got huge budgetary costs to start buying braille for every school in the country and to train so many teachers to teach everybody braille, which they will not use there when they are out there in public. What we want and advocating is to assistive technology for every person who is totally blind, and then sign language as an official eighth language, which we have introduced in a number of institutions, and we will be actually reviewing and coming back with an improved version of a motion so that certain things can be taken care of. Some of them can be taken care of by a statutory instrument, which the minister can issue, the Minister of Community Development or the Minister of Education.
In a statement, the Disability Rights Watch, however, notes that the persons with disabilities in Zambia have continued to be treated as objects of charity and social welfare assistance with very little effort invested in tapping into their potential to contribute to development as active members of society. This is in the wake of the World Human Rights Day being observed under the theme Dignity, Freedom and Justice for All. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A civic leader has called on government to fine-tune the Constituency Development Fund CDF to make it effective. In the 2024 national budget, government increased the CDF allocation from 28.6 million kwacha in 2023 to 30.6 million kwacha in the 2024 national budget. Kamala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says currently the process of benefiting from the funds from the point of application to being a beneficiary defeats the purpose of the funds. Meanwhile, a researcher and consultant, Professor Louis Chilufya, underscores the need to relook at who appoints members of the ward development committees to avoid political interference in the implementation of CDF. Details in this report.
Constituency Development Fund, CDF, is meant to lift the standards of living for citizens in the country, increased from 28 million kwacha to 30.6 million kwacha. Stakeholders argue that the increase may not increase the effectiveness of the funds without evaluating the performance of the previous year and addressing challenges with the guidelines. According to a police brief paper on the resourcing of ward development committees and its impact on the effectiveness in executing their functions, research by the Civil Society for Decentralization Analysis, CSO done, the implementation and application of CDF to many is not free from external political pressure, corruption, among others. The research also revealed that WDCs have no provisions for the construction of physical office spaces, which has led to them to pay for transport costs. In order to address these challenges, Kamala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says there is a need to fine-tune the CDF guidelines and improve its effectiveness. Mr. Simata is of the view that fine-tuning CDF guidelines could create a pathway for the success of the program.
The increment of the CDF is something that is welcome, but at the same time we need to fine-tune some of the guidelines and processes that are involved in the CDF. For example, we need to ensure that the processes of application up to the point of where this money is released for service delivery in the wards or for empowerment, the processes have to be reduced, because the processes which are currently there are so lengthy that at times it takes 6 months to 1 year for a project to be actually implemented and seen on the ground. And this is causing some people to even wonder if really CDF is there or it's working for them. While in real fact is that the CDF is there, it's there for the people and it is working, but it's not working at the pace at which us as civic leaders would want it to work.
A research and consultant, Professor Louis Chilufya, who took part in the police paper on CDF by CSO Dan, observes that fine-tuning the CDF guidelines is key because political compromise at the ward committee level is a result of the appointing authority.
From the one who appoints members of the WDCs, the ward development committees, you'll see the hand of, in some wards, the influence, the big influence of, for instance, MPs influencing the appointment of members. But also when it comes to disbursement of funds, you also see again a variation. In some wards, the process is open, the process is transparent. In other words, you see big influence from MPs and other political leaders influencing decisions as to who benefits from the CDF.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, says the revised 2023 education curriculum framework will enable pupils acquire necessary skills before tertiary education. NUPEZ Executive President Victor Muyumba says the union has been concerned over the current curriculum's focus on theory, which serves no purpose to the learners. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News in Lusaka Saturday afternoon, Mr. Muyumba, however, says the omission of mining in the curriculum is of concern and should be reconsidered. Mr. Muyumba adds that mining is an integral part of Zambia's economy, and it should have been given prominence as a subject like other skills in the curriculum.
Advocating for the implementation of the two-tier education system. Remember, there's the academic part and also there is the vocational part. So looking at the curriculum in question, we feel this has been met. And we say congratulations to Minister of Education for the job well done. We know that this is going to take a lot of time, a lot of money to implement. We shouldn't be in a hurry. let's have resources, because the change of the curriculum may even call for the change of the infrastructure that you have in place. We cannot fail to have mining as a component at secondary school and as a subject at primary school now, as a component and as a subject at secondary school. It's because God has blessed us with a lot of minerals, and we need to take advantage of these minerals to develop ourselves. So we need mining in the curriculum. We cannot have a situation where we are told we don't have a mining expert, a mining insurance expert in Zambia, when these are coming from countries that don't have minerals.
Emeralds and Semi-Precious Stones Mining Association of Zambia President Victor Kalesha has urged stakeholders not to politicize the SENSELI mine accident. Mr. Kalesha says no one plans for an accident, hence the need to support rescue efforts by the government. The rescue team searching for the trapped miners at the mine in Chingola has so far managed to retrieve 7 people since the operation began 9 days ago, and among the retrieved people, 6 are dead and 1 is alive. More in this report.
The SENSELI mine accident in Chingola district is among worst tragedies in the history of Zambian mining. The calamity exposes the challenges citizens go through to earn a living in a copper-rich country confronted by high unemployment levels. The rescue team searching for the trapped miners at the mine in Chingola has so far managed to retrieve 7 people since the operation began 9 days ago, and among the retrieved people, 6 are dead and 1 is alive. Various stakeholders, including President Hakainde Hichilema, have visited the accident sites, and many more continue to do so.
Otherwise, copper belt, ifumya copper, tetukwate abana balachula muri uyu musango, abalenonkera muri copper, bali bambi. So tulero mbo buteko ko batulolekesheko babwafi obuli kuno.
A consortium of small-scale miners and gemstone traders under the Federation of Small-Scale Miners Association of Zambia and the Emerald and the Semi-Precious Stones Mining Association of Zambia also visited the site to appreciate the magnitude of the problem and donated food items. Speaking on behalf of the Emerald Association of Zambia, Victor Kalesha emphasized the need not to politicize the accident.
Small-scale miners, we tell our colleagues to be calm and not to speculate on things that are happening over here. Do not speculate. I think there is a command center where the minister and at the DC's office, they are giving briefs, and every other information that you are seeing on social media, bodies lying down, is not true. What is true is what is happening here. People are working day in, day out to just and see if they can retrieve many more other people that are trapped into there. So as an association, we are standing in solidarity with the government. We want to make sure that we stand with them. We brought in a donation. We will keep on bringing more things to donate to support this noble cause. It's unfortunate that some politicians want to politicize. It's not necessary. We are Zambians, we are a Christian nation. Let's work with the government to make sure that this operation comes to an end.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Catholic Diocese of Mongo Caritas Mongo Coordinator Sanana Lewanika has called for collaboration between stakeholders in the fight against gender-based violence in Mongo District. Mrs. Lewanika was speaking during a public forum meeting organized by Caritas Mongo with support from National Children's Rights Forum on Saturday. Mrs. Lewanika says there are many factors contributing to gender-based violence which need to be addressed, such as alcohol abuse. And Mongo Police Community Services Department Coordinator Phil Siwembo has called on community members to be reporting cases of gender-based violence to relevant authorities. More in this report.
Diocese of Mungu, Caritas Mungu, held a public forum with a focus on issues of gender-based violence and its impact to children's rights with stakeholders and relevant offices at Mumwa Craft Center to mark the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Caritas Mungu, with support from National Children's Rights Forum, organized a stakeholder engagement meeting to foster collaboration, exchange knowledge and identity strategies to combat gender-based violence and demand for a Mungu free of GBV that promote and support children's rights and well-being. Speaking at the meeting, Caritas Mungu coordinator Sanana Liwanika called for collaboration among stakeholders to combat gender-based violence in the district.
An opportunity to talk about gender-based violence. So the objective of this public forum was to hear from the discussants. So we are discussing in this forum the vices against gender-based violence that robs the children of their rights. We perpetuate, gender-based violence. We are robbing our children with their rights. And when we are robbing our children with their rights, it means we are pushing them or we are throwing them in the streets. Because even in our homes, they don't find rest. If in a home you are always beating each other, you are abusing each other, you find that some of the children cannot stand it and they run into the streets.
Young Women Christian Association coordinator Sandra Maputa urged the local authority to regulate beer drinking places, saying it is one of the key contributors to gender-based violence.
There's a lot of alcohol abuse in our homes. Afterwards, when you find a woman, I think we'll bring it whatsoever. We'll see how the government can help us. Where you find a woman 9 hours is already drunk. I think there must be a police. There must be a local manager. Maybe how do you expect a woman who is already drunk in 9 hours to make a rightful decision, man? It's very difficult. It's reckless.
Mungu Police Community Services Department Coordinator Phil Swembo called on community members to be reporting cases of GBV, and one of the community members shared their views.
So the whole idea of victim support unit or child protection is to know it's not to arrest. We are here to build families. So people are reporting, that's why we are even here. We are meeting with the village, people from the communities, and the encouragement is that please can we bring forward and report these matters.
For Camnet News, Museo Kabila, Mungu, Western Province.
Join us for more news after this break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Welcome back. The government has advised people of Northwestern Province to be patient as mediation talks in the Ndungu and Kucheka Royal Throne succession disputes in Zambezi districts are key to resolving the issue in an amicable manner. Local Government and Rural Development Minister Gary Nkombo says people should allow conclusion of the mediation process being led by Senior Chief Chiwala and Mujima Nzovu. Speaking at a media briefing Sunday, Mr. Nkombo says the ministry is executing its mandate through facilitating for the parties to come up with mediating teams in a bid to secure an amicable resolution to the succession disputes.
As you may be aware, my ministry is charged with the responsibility of attending to the welfare of Royal Highnesses in the country, including facilitating for smooth administration of traditional affairs and governance. I wish to reiterate government's desire that while parties have inherent rights to seek legal redress whenever they feel aggrieved in the administration of their customary matters, customary institutions and systems, including the royal families, clans, the House of Chiefs should be the first point of call for customary disputes, as these institutions are well vested in and competent to adjudicate over customary issues, including the succession disputes. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to thank once again the Royal Highnesses who have heeded to the government's call to resolve all customary disputes within the customary and traditional systems and not through the courts of law as we prescribe. We have seen increased efforts and commitment from royal families across the country to try and resolve these matters outside the court, domestically, and this is very, very commendable. We encourage those who are still in court to also pursue the avenue of dialogue among themselves. In particular, I express my gratitude, sincere gratitude, to the Vakashinyama royal dynasty, in particular for reaching out to us in government through the ministry that I'm privileged to run, to ask the ministry to facilitate the mediation bid to secure a resolution that is sustainable and long-lasting to the succession dispute of the Ndungu as well as the Kucheka Royal Thrones in Zambezi district of our Northwestern Province.
Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba says Zambia now has a 2 million tourist arrivals target for the 2024, seeing that the 1.5 million target for 2023 will be met. Speaking during the 5th anniversary of New Kanth Sarova Hotel in Lusaka, the minister said this can only be achieved if more hotels are constructed in the country. He commended the hotel for their expansion plans, which they will be adding 60 rooms as well as a convention center after securing a plot adjacent to the hotel. And Sarova Sales and Marketing Manager Beatrice Mulenga says during the COVID-19 pandemic, management kept all the staff and none was laid off.
Ladies to come forward and get gloves. We're going to take quick now. Okay, let me just say, volunteer ladies, please come. Ladies and gentlemen, we are closing the year on a high. Last year in November, pledged as a ministry through the Zambia Tourism Agency to target 1.5 million international arrivals. And surprise, surprise, we're in October today. It's in October, November, December. As at end of October, we were no longer in the horizon of looking at the 1.5 number. Come exit 2023, we are going to beat the 1.5 million arrivals And the Zambia Tourism Agency, under my ministry, is now looking at how to bolster that number. We're looking at achieving the 2 million number. Now that can only be achieved with your support. And that is exactly what we're talking about. If we're going to be pushing more and more people to come in, we need to support facilities, establishments such as these ones, to be able to have people to sleep in those beds so that we don't have people sleeping in motor vehicles. Fortunately, they've managed to secure the adjacent plot and the other one, where we're going to have close to 60 standard rooms, as well as a convention center, a conferencing facility, and I think we need to give a round of applause.
We have grown extensively in our level of service, and it is all thanks to you, our valuable clients. Thank you for your feedback and for your support. We are truly honored that we've had an opportunity to serve you and to be with you. Thank you for the trust that you've invested in us with your meetings and with your accommodation. In the face of adversity during the COVID pandemic, which was such a challenging time for us, we made a commitment to our team. We kept all our staff. We didn't lay off any of our staff during the COVID pandemic. And this is something that we are so proud of, because we were able to keep all our staff until when the pandemic was over and everybody continued where we left off. We are also proud to be a culturally diverse organization, embracing inclusivity at every level. We have employed 5 differently abled people who are part of our diverse team, and they've become an integral part of our excelling team.
The United Nations World Food Programme has donated assorted mechanization, agricultural equipment and machinery worth 1.8 million kwacha to farmers in Monze for enhanced crop productivity and production. Southern Province Permanent Secretary Naamani Monze says that the donated agricultural mechanization equipment include tractors, reapers, threshers and other crop processing equipment. The Permanent Secretary, who was represented by Southern Province Assistant Secretary Edson Nachimwenda, handed over the mechanization equipment to farmers in Siakasenke Agricultural Camp in Monze. And World Food Programme Country Resident Representative Sisi Bienkia says the donated mechanization equipment is meant for the establishment of 2 mechanization service centers and a solar-powered irrigation scheme. Details in this report.
The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, has donated assorted mechanization agricultural equipment and machinery worth 1.8 million kwacha to farmers in Monze for enhanced crop productivity and production. Southern Province Permanent Secretary Dr. Naamani Monze, who was represented by Southern Province Assistant Secretary Edson Nachimwenda, handed over the mechanization equipment to farmers in Siakasenke Agricultural Camp in Monze.
Today I'm so delighted to join our development partner, the World Food Programme, private sector actors including equipment suppliers, and you, our dear farmers, to hand over machinery for the smallholder mechanization service pilot project, which will support the establishment of the 2 mechanization service centers here in Monze district. Mechanization service provision is especially critical for smallholder farmers who may not be in a position to buy their own agricultural equipment, such as tractors, reapers, threshers, and other crop processing equipment to meet agricultural production requirements.
And WFP Country Resident Representative Sisi Bianca says the donated mechanization equipment is meant for the establishment of 2 mechanization service centers and a solar-powered irrigation scheme.
Under the WFP Country Strategic Plan 2023 to 2028, WFP is committed to supporting smallholder farmers, especially women and youth, to adopt productivity-enhancing technologies, including mechanization and water-efficient irrigation systems.
Mwanza Malambo is Monze District Commissioner.
We are lucky here in Monze because Zambia is a very wide country. And these organizations, they would be somewhere elsewhere.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabotu in Monze, Southern Province.
A youth-led non-governmental organization has called for effective efforts from government that aim at addressing period poverty levels among girls in rural areas. Donate a Pad campaign founder Sabetha Zulu says access to sanitary products, especially in rural areas of Zambia, is a challenge. Speaking during a training of 25 youths from Muchini village of Shimabala area, Ms. Zulu proposes that girls must be able to access sanitary towels under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. And some girls spoken to by Camnet TV News crew explained that it is difficult for one to access sanitary products because they are expensive.
In Zambia, especially in rural areas, access to sanitary pads is a luxury they simply cannot afford. The arrival of their menstrual cycle is not just a biological change, but a getaway to shame, isolation, and even missed education. According to UNICEF, over 1 million girls in Zambia have limited access to sanitary pads and miss up to 40 days in school in a given school calendar. In 2021, government assured to provide free sanitary pads to all school-going girls starting in 2022. Has this commitment been fulfilled like it is in other countries like Kenya, which was the first African country to scrap VAT on sanitary pads in 2004 and allocate $3 million annually to provide free sanitary pads for girls in low-income communities? About 90% of Zambian girls in rural areas lack access to sanitary pads due to reasons such as poverty, poor infrastructure, and traditional customs, among others. But amidst the despair, rays of hope are shining as a local youth-driven organization, Donate a Pad campaign, has embarked on training girls in rural areas on how to make reusable sanitary pads from usual clothing material. Speaking during a one-day training on making reusable pads in Lusaka for about 25 girls of Muchini village of Shimabala area of Lusaka province, organization founder Sabetha Zulu called on the government to also create a provision on the Constituency Development Fund CDF, which will promote the distribution of sanitary products to girls, especially those in school.
Nothing has been done. So I feel like CDF should also have a portion where girls can be taken care of. There can be a portion where girls can actually be put in that budget to ensure that they have access to proper menstrual necessities. By doing so, they'll feel a certain sense of belonging that not only organizations are involved, but the government and the nation at large is also ensuring that access to sanitary pads is a must by these girls in these vulnerable communities.
Government can really come in and just introduce free sanitary products in schools. These girls need these things at their disposal. This is my cry. This is my cry to the government. This is my cry to Zambia at large. Like, we really need to campaign and get out of this poverty. It's so depressing. It's so depressing, it's disheartening when you are on the ground and you're interacting with the girls that are really experiencing it. You feel it.
Meanwhile, the girls from Muchini village, talked to by this journalist, highlighted the challenge of accessing sanitary products in the area and the importance of the training.
To buy pads, because pads are expensive. And in those pads, in the packet, we find 20 pads. And it costs 25 kwacha. So for us to find money to buy all those pads, it's very difficult. And for this training, it is very easy for us to have some pads for us to, sometimes when we have some pads, we help some people who don't have. So it's very easy.
My pads get 25, then to 20, and costing 25 kwacha. Then person can be sometimes when I'm man, basta more twice, basta 10. So the person gets about to present and drum and show vuta. So sometimes those things are like the newla, which is very bad.
Period poverty is the lack of access to menstrual hygiene products and education, and remains a significant issue in Zambia, affecting millions of girls and women with far-reaching consequences impacting their education, health, and overall well-being. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
We'll take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
What if I never knew? What if I never found you? I never have this feeling in my heart.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet Media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends, and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to having home.
Welcome back. And now in international news, 2 weeks before the Democratic Republic of Congo goes to the polls, the opposition leader Moise Katumbi has broadened his campaign in a bid to win the country's top seat. While campaigning in the capital Kinshasa, Katumbi promised to liberate the country on Congolese election day. In front of thousands of supporters, opposition presidential candidate Moise Katumbi promised to liberate the country by giving jobs to young people and lowering the US dollar rate during his rally in the capital Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
2 weeks before the Democratic Republic of Congo goes to the polls, the opposition leader Moise Katumbi has broadened his campaigns in a bid to win the country's top seat. In front of thousands of his supporters, opposition presidential candidate Moise Katumbi promised to liberate the country by giving jobs to young people and lower the US dollar rate during his rally in the capital Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo. I've come to change the country. I've come to liberate the country. Sons of the Congo. What are we going to liberate together? What's the date? They say they don't have the money to rent planes. I said I'd give the money to organize the elections. Did I do wrong? Katumbi's opponents had raised the question of his nationality at the heart of a controversy raised midweek by Defense Minister and the former warlord John Pierre Bemba, who insinuated that he was a Zambian. They say I'm a foreigner. Who are the foreigners? Who have made over 666 trips abroad? A wealthy businessman and owner of the famous two Puissant Mazembe soccer club, Moise Katumbi, is a former governor of the mining province of Katanga, the country's economic powerhouse. The DR Congo goes to the polls on 20th December. Nigeria's huge oil refinery built by Africa's richest man Aliko Dangote received its first crude deliveries, the company said on Saturday in the latest step to starting up the delayed mega project. Built as Africa's largest of its type, the 650,000 barrel per day Dangote refinery could be a game changer for Nigeria's economy when fully operational by helping ending the country's reliance on fuel imports. Dangote Petroleum Refinery received an initial shipment of 1 million barrels of crude from Agbani Deepwater Field and began loading on Friday. The initial run will be for production of diesel and aviation fuel before moving on to petrol output. Dangote gave no date for the actual start of refinery production. Though one of Africa's largest oil producers and the continent's top economy, Nigeria relies almost totally on imported fuel and diesel because of a lack of refining capacity. Zimbabwe held special elections on Saturday for 9 seats in parliament after opposition lawmakers were removed from their positions and disqualified from running again. All 9 opposition lawmakers from the Citizens Coalition for Change party that were removed were elected in the national vote in August. This is something else taking place and has got nothing to do with the people's will. This by-election is not for the people. It's not clear what it is. The Zimbabwean by-election, which was held across 9 constituencies, is being met with widespread voter apathy. Some were reportedly not open despite being listed as primary voting centers.
So to my surprise today, I was supposed to be in my polling station where I was entitled to be, which is Tsenerano BA. So it's closed. They uplifted all the tents, they uplifted everything, they went away with it. Later on we heard they were saying Sakupwanya is the member of parliament of Mapuku Chafara. We are now surprised who voted for him.
The main opposition party said the removal of its lawmakers is a brazen attempt by the ruling party to increase its control in parliament, and has accused ZANU-PF, which has been in power since independence in 1980, of using the courts to help it do that.
We are very angry about these things. How can you then come to impose a candidate upon the one who was elected? I was duly elected on 2030, and in that instance I still remain, and I remain a people's darling. You can take me out of the parliament and out of every government institution, but you will never take me out of the people, the heart and mind of people, Mapuku.
ZANU-PF won 177 out of 280 parliament seats in the national election, but it needs another 10 seats to gain the 2/3 majority it requires to change the constitution. That will allow it to remove the term limit for presidents, among other things. Egyptians began voting on Sunday in a presidential election overshadowed by war in the neighboring Gaza, and with little doubt that the incumbent Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will secure a 3rd term. Before the polls open at 9 a.m. local time, dozens of voters had already crowded in front of a polling station in a central Cairo school amidst heavy security. Voting takes place from Sunday until Tuesday between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. local time each day, with official results announced on December 18. Some 67 million people are eligible to vote, and all eyes will be on turnout after successive previous elections mastered low participation figures. Sisi is facing 3 other candidates who are relatively unknown among the public. Farid Zaran, leader of the left-leaning Egyptian Social Democratic Party, Abdel Sanad Yamana from the WAFD, a century-old but relatively marginal party, and Hazem Omar from the Republic People's Party.
And now in sports news, the Lusaka media football team has won the Play for Road Safety tournament after beating Lima Tower bus drivers by 4 goals to 2. The team for Lusaka-based Scribes progressed to the final after beating online taxi drivers by 2 goals to 1 in the semi-finals. The tournament, being organized by Safety for People on the Move, saw the participation of 8 teams. The event was held to raise awareness on the need to uphold traffic rules and regulations in order to curb road fatalities in the country. The winners have walked away with 10,000 kwacha prize money, and the runners-up part away with 5,000 kwacha. Camnet TV staffer and Lusaka media team acting General Secretary Makokwa Kozi commended the team for emerging victorious. Congratulations to the media team for that victory. To end Camnet Television news, the top stories once again. Stakeholders advised against politicizing the SENSELI mine tragedy. Government calls for calm and amid succession disputes in Northwestern Province. A teachers' union welcomes the revised 2023 education curriculum. In international news, DR Congo's opposition leader KATUMBI promises to liberate the country. And in sports news, the Lusaka media football team wins the Play for Road Safety tournament. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 1 John chapter 4, verse 9. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Thanks for watching Camnet Television Main News. Good night.